it's a bit of an it's a bit of an education day today, and Stanley has decided that he wants to join in. All right, mate? Now, as we know, this is Stanley's 22nd year on this planet, and he knows more about people than Keir Starmer could ever hope to learn. In fact, Stanley has shown in his 22 years integrity, courage, compassion, loyalty, and at times, fearsome claws. But what Stanley has never done is shit on his own back door. Now, yes, I know Stanley, quite right. He looks a bit scraggy. I can only apologise. So, talking of Keir Starmer, he has been very public about his affection for his children. Yesterday was a tweet, they are his pride and joy. One wonders if he is their pride and joy. He talks about he will never apologise for giving his lad the opportunity to revise in peace at Lord Ali's flat. He says that was the right thing to do. Will I apologise for it? He said no, was the answer. Well, as Keir Starmer had the opportunity to afford his son a space where he could revise getting ready for his GCSEs, there are families in the UK now who are not able to afford their child the opportunity of staying in the same school they were at in their GCSE year. And I point you to one family who are at the behest of Warwickshire County Council, who have got no places for their year 11 child. So their year 11 child is having to leave the independent sector because they cannot absorb the costs of VAT and national insurance that are being passed on to them by the school, and the school can't absorb it because it's got no money. So they are having to move into the state system, but there are no places. And this family have been told just to wait and see what happens, to ring and see what happens in September. So going into his year 11, his GCSE years, there is a child that doesn't have a school right now. And Warwickshire County Council, what are they doing? Nothing. Now, Keir Starmer, he wouldn't let that happen to his son because he knew a very rich person, Lord Ali, who could chuck in a flat, and his son got the opportunity to revise for his exams and complete his exams. Keir Starmer, indeed, has had his education finished for him in terms of financing it by Kent County Council, because when Keir Starmer's school went private, for the parents of the kids that were already in it, they didn't have to pay the fees. No. The council paid for it so that their education wouldn't be disrupted. Bridget Philipson has bought her children an education by buying a house in the London borough where all of the schools are Ofsted Outstanding. So she was able to afford that asset, which will obviously only go up, so that when her children have finished their education, they also have a whopping great asset of a house, which they could probably sell and maybe afford to buy their own children an education. Who knows what they will do with that money? But if we actually buy an actual education at source, because our children need either a support system or a different educational system, or lo and behold, we just want to, we are penalised for that. We are not allowed to do that, unless of course you are Keir Starmer or Bridget Philipson or Rachel Reeves or any of the other MPs who have also put their children in the Ofsted Outstanding schools because they can afford the house in the catchment area. You see, there's many ways of buying an education. There's many ways of doing it. The traditional method was actually buying the education. But the other methods, which lots of other people do, are indeed buying the house, renting another house, or going to a school that has a faith school, going to church for a few months and then not bothering again for the rest of the 7 years that they're there. So you can see we all have options open to us as to maybe fix it a little bit, maybe to move up the rung a little bit, maybe to get an unfair advantage on someone else. That's life. I might not agree with it, you might not agree with it, but it's what happens. But if you do the bit where you just pay, so you pay your taxes already, so you still contribute to the state, but you take your child out of the state system and put it in the independent sector and contribute to the state and contribute to the economy by, of course, contributing to the economy with the school being able to employ teachers and ground staff and buildings, etc., etc. You are a bad person. You may not do that, but you can do what Bridget Philipson did and buy a house. Buy an asset that gets you in the catchment area of the Ofsted Outstanding school, and then you can retain that asset, and at the end of the education you can do what you want with it. Or you can do what Keir Starmer did and borrow a flat from your mate Lord Ali. But please don't do what one family is trying to do and get their child into a school in year 11 in Warwickshire County Council, because there are no places. They have nowhere for this child to go. So what are they going to do for their GCSEs? Is Keir Starmer going to ring them up and say, do you know what, don't worry, I've got a mate called Lord Ali, he'll give you a flat and he'll enrol you in the local school. Is he going to do that? Is he going to pay the school fees for them? I doubt it. He's going to use his money for his own family gain and for what he wants to make him better, as is Bridget Philipson, as is Rachel Reeves, as is Ellie Reeves, because they are all hypocritical,